What's up, everybody? This is Lorenzo Santos here, live at South by Southwest, here with Mr. Noel Lee, the head monster of Monster. This is the guy, the legend. Thank you so much for coming over here.
Lorenzo, thank you, man.
We really appreciate all this, and thank you so much for taking the time. So a lot of the Youngry Nation is a bunch of people that are early stage startups, people who are just starting their entrepreneurial journey, and they just don't know where to start. So what I'd love to do is ask you first, what was your story about that? What was your story with Monster?
Well, first of all, it's not for everybody. When you're starting a company, a lot of people think, oh, I'm going to be independent. Love to own my own business. But, most businesses fail. It was about 80%, 90%.
Yeah, like 90%.
Fail, okay? And part of the reason why they fail is because people don't know what it takes. So if you're not ready, stay in your job, get a raise, do something really cool. But you have to be committed. Okay, so and I was dumb, okay, because I was an engineer. I didn't know how difficult starting a business was going to be, and especially building a brand. And had I known that, I probably would have been discouraged. So no, I'll play the safe route. But be that as it may, you got, I think first a real commitment to yourself, to your family, okay, because if you are the entrepreneur or what do you call it? The starterpreneur?
Yeah, like the wantrepreneur.
The wantrepreneur. Okay. So
wannabe entrepreneur.
So if you are a wannabe entrepreneur, okay, yeah, it's really the stage after entrepreneur that you got to be thinking about.
Wow, so you got to keep thinking ahead from where you are right now.
Yeah, well, you always got to be thinking ahead because you could be wasting a lot of time and not get there. So this is at a young age especially, you've got your most valuable asset is your time.
Definitely.
Okay, not money, not knowledge, but when you commit your time, you cannot recover it. So once you spend time, it's spent, it's gone. So I would say you should think about where you're going to go, and do you have what it takes to be a success?
I think that's a great question. I mean, that's a great statement, and I'd love to ask you a question about that. Is, when you're starting, you're going to need a lot of resilience. You're going to need to make sure you're in it for the long haul and not just for the quick buck. What I'm wondering is, who were some of the people you were studying while you were younger, or was it all you? This was just an internal drive, or did you have anyone that you modeled?
Well, look, if I had done any business or went to business school, which I did, went to engineering school, I probably would have had a lot more experience on it. But I think in learning myself, the early books, In Search of Excellence, Tom Peters' book, Good to Great, a lot of the GE studies of Lean Six Sigma and all those kind of things were good. But I'll tell you, the most influential to me is not how you succeed, okay? Because like In Search of Excellence, 90% of those companies didn't last.
Yeah.
Okay, so they're so good, how come, that they couldn't sustain. I study companies that fail.
Wow.
Okay, so companies that fail, you know what not to do.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's more important than knowing what to do, because what to do changes with time.
From time to time.
Yeah, because what to do, in the 70s is different than what to do in the 80s, different to do in the 2017. So,
how did you study the companies that failed? Did you just look like, oh, this was a good company, and then they failed, and then you just studied why they failed?
There's books out there for that. Okay, so there's a book called I looked at. It was really good learning for me. It was Why Smart Executives Fail. Why Smart Executives Fail.
Yeah. Write that down right now.
And but there are other companies that talk about failures. The Jim Collins book, I forget the the name, but the company's at the 5 steps of going bankrupt. Okay, so which phase are you?
Yeah.
And to recognize those. So if you're going to sustain, I think it's more important to learn why people fail than why they succeed. The other thing is, success could be you're at the right time in the right place, and luck has a lot to do with it. But you may not be in the right time in the right place.
Yeah.
Okay, and then it's you got to, like you say, be resilient. You got to, learn how to keep on trucking when the going gets tough.
Definitely. I mean, Youngry is all about frameworks. So what I want to ask you is, if you were to give someone 5 steps from going from nothing to actually starting a product and getting into market or a service, what would those 5 steps be? Where would you first start off?
5 steps. Okay. Well, look I gave you step 1. Okay. Be committed.
Be committed.
For the
Step
long
1.
haul,
Be
for the
committed
long
for the long haul.
Because if you're not, you're gonna fail and you're gonna give up. And why waste your time, right?
Exactly.
Nobody's got time to waste. Secondly, it's kind of like it's hard to do at first. You got to think about finances. You got to think about money, okay? Because, and in regards to money, you got to be committed to making money. And a lot of people feel, especially young people, I want to do something that's really good for the environment, for whatever great cause. But if it doesn't make you money, you can't sustain it. I had a talk with somebody last night. I said, you know what? Focus on the action guy. I forgot his name.
Oh, activated.
Yeah.
The activated guy.
So I said, look, because he's got all these things he wants to help everybody. I said, look, if you make money, you can always go back to help people. But if you don't have money, forget about helping people.
Yeah.
People need to live. They need to eat. They need to be motivated. So as ugly as money sounds, and everybody's like greedy and everything, there's a certain righteousness to it because money allows you to do the good things that you want to do.
No, I totally agree.
Yeah.
There's that universal principle of like money has no bias. It's what you do with the money that.
Yeah, it's what you do with the money.
Exactly.
I mean, so I think that is super critical in what one's philosophy in their business. So make money, and then you can do anything else you want to do. Okay, so I'd say that'd be number 2, getting focused on having money to make money.
So step 1 is be committed, be in it for the long haul. Step 2 is be focused, be in it to make the money, so you can have the money.
Yeah,
Right, what would step 3?
exactly.
What would step 3?
Well, in regards to the money part, you also need money to sustain. Okay?
To sustain.
So,
to feed your employees.
well,
And
because it's not all going to be good. And so you had the greatest idea, it was fantastic, okay, and it's successful because a lot of people want the service or product.
yeah.
But if you can't sustain it, it'll go away. Okay, so that's where angel investors come in. That's where VC, going public, mergers. Have that always in the back of your mind on how to do that, because it's the gas that allows you to drive the car. Okay, I don't care how good your car is. Okay, if you ain't got gas, forget it. It's gonna stop, right? So, the money is a two-sided thing. Be prepared to have the money that you need.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I mean, I've heard a lot where it's best to raise money when you don't need it. Would you agree?
Oh, yeah. Look when nobody knows you, nobody wants to loan you anything. And you haven't succeeded, that's where venture capital comes in and they take a big chunk, unfortunately. But if you succeed, everybody wants to loan you money. They'll throw money at you. I get 5 or 6 letters a week. How are you thinking about going public? Do you need money? No, I don't need the money. So
Yeah. No, I totally understand that. What would step 3 be? We're on money, and then what would step 3?
Step 3 would be having whatever idea it is, Okay, and this also goes with the company culture that we talked about. But you need to have differentiation.
What do you mean by differentiation? Like unique value proposition, or your
well,
differentness in the market?
Well, first of all, you have to be able to articulate how you're different, because the noise level is way too high. Okay, and if because you might think your idea is great, but there's probably 1,000 other companies who are having the same idea. So you have to pick on the one thing that makes you different, okay, and drive that message. So like for Monster, it is always lead, never follow. So our commitment is you will never see a Monster product that is a copy of somebody else's product. We don't follow. It has to have innovation. It has to be different. So when somebody says, "Oh, Monster is getting into the battery charger business," the first thing they ask is, "How's it different?" They don't ask how cheap it is. Okay, they don't ask, where is it being distributed. The first thing they ask is, "How's it going to be different?" Because the expectation of always lead, never follow for us is that we're going to do something different. Just like we did with our Bluetooth speaker, it floats in a pool, right?
Yeah.
So it's not just a Bluetooth. There's a lot of Bluetooth speakers out there, okay, but how many of them float in the pool?
Yeah, exactly, definitely.
Yeah, so you got to think of what is your key differentiator, because and that's sustainable too, by the way, because if you have
Sustainable key differentiator.
if you have a differentiator and the barrier to entry is low, everybody's going to copy that differentiation.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
What you have on your side, if you're the first to think of the differentiator, is X amount of time. And X amount of times when you first launch that really cool idea, the window's wide open. And the window starts to close over time. So you got to figure out, do I have 6 months? Do I have a year? Do I have 2 years? How much time do I have before that window of opportunity starts to close? Unless you have, you say, oh, well, I got a trademark, I got a patent, I got those things to protect me for, 17 years or whatever. But those are hard to enforce. Okay, so speed to market is everything.
Speed to market.
Speed to market is everything, with a great idea, and then sustaining your window.
That's interesting. So that's the first time I've ever heard of step 3 like that, which is keep in mind the time in terms of your sustainability within the market and your differentiator, your key differentiator, because this is what's going to keep you for this time, that this window of opportunity. So make sure you know what that is. Is that Is that kind of...
Look, and there are very few differentiators that are unique that can sustain time.
Yeah.
Okay, I mean, you have to, because the barrier to entry for most ideas are easy, But if you invented Viagra, okay, let's figure out what that is.
Yeah, exactly.
And how long we got before somebody else comes up with something. So,
sure.
And that's a high barrier to entry. But if it's easy, if it's just a little, always lead, never follow, or some little nuance that's your differentiator, you better drive it hard and be singularly focused on that differentiator. Make sure the world knows it. Okay, because then, let's look at a Facebook or an iPhone. So if you drive that differentiator, then people will identify you with that differentiation.
Yeah.
So we did Monster Cable.
Yeah.
Right. So it was everybody had speaker wire. The speaker wire was free. Well, we designed the first cable that actually made the sound better. Okay, and then, in year 3, there were so many copies. There were more speaker cable people than there were speaker manufacturers. So it was crazy. So you only have that window and it just starts to close.
Yeah, definitely. So that's the key differentiator. What would step 4 be?
Okay, the step 4, is the whole underlying principle of the first 3 steps is that you have a really good sense of company culture and operations. So When you go through Walmart, you see Sam Walton's quotes all over the wall. You go to Target, okay, it's all written on the walls. You go through Monster, we've got our mission statement, we've got our culture, we got what we're about, and we have a company culture. So when people come to Monster, we call them monsters. Okay, you got the
head monster.
Yeah, you got the legal monster, you got the sales monster, you got the marketing monster. So there are no titles. We don't like titles. So you're not CEO, I'm head monster. You're not the VP of this and executive VP of that. Because I personally don't like the hierarchy. People play the hierarchy game.
That's really cool. Is there a reason for that? Because a lot of companies take on the hierarchy model, but is there one thing that made you realize that this wasn't working, or this way would be more disruptive? Because I think it's really interesting.
You mean in terms of culture or
in terms
hierarchy?
of culture, hierarchy, right?
Okay,
so why destroying hierarchy is beneficial to company culture?
Well, I could tell you why it's bad to company culture. Okay, so it is, if he doesn't work for me, then I can't control. So it is, you want him to do this? Yeah, but he doesn't work for me. Meaning, you can't control his salary, you can't control his time, and all those kind of things that really doesn't give you the atmosphere of working together. It's not a togetherness. It's VP of that, director of this, and so it really creates silos as opposed to teamwork. Wow. And I always tell my people, look, you don't have to have somebody work for you to work for you. They don't have to report to you because they want to help you. Okay, because you've got now a company goal, company culture is well articulated, and everybody is working toward it. So I can ask any one of my people to do any job that is needed at the time. Nobody says, not my description. Okay, nobody says, no, I can't. I'm not going to help him, because he's not my department. So, and then hierarchy is always unfair, because a lot of people leave their jobs because they don't like who they're working for. And I have a 360 in my company, whereas the people who are under the departments rate the person who's supervising them. So you might have a manager, but that manager gets rated by the people.
Oh man, what a flip! Yeah. I think that's so interesting.
Yeah, because first of all, you want to know, okay? And it's just, I'm afraid to tell him he's wrong because he controls my pay. Okay.
Does it work the other way around too, where the supervisor? Do you have the supervisors rate, the people they're supervising, or do you just have it one way?
No, both ways.
Okay.
But the traditional way is you're a manager,
supervisor.
You kind of rate everybody, and he says, okay, he could improve in that. You can reorganize. Okay, so that's expected of a manager. But if that manager were held accountable by the people he manages, that's a whole different thing.
Man, that is interesting. That is so interesting.
Yeah.
And I guess that's just a little bit touch with the company culture at Monster. So it's very, very synergistic. Everyone's working together.
Absolutely.
And it's like there's just this one goal.
Yeah.
There's no hierarchy, and everybody is trying to achieve that one goal.
Absolutely. Well, and it's really in reality not just one goal.
Of course, there are many KPIs involved.
Yeah, there are many things you're trying to achieve because today, marketing, and especially with our consumer products, it's very complex.
I can imagine. Yeah. All right, so that's I guess what we would say phase 4 or step 4, which is establishing company culture, as well as working on the day-to-day operations and creating systems that will help everybody work synergistically towards one goal.
Yeah, you know what, and just regarding the hierarchy, and that's only one part of a very small part of the company culture.
Yeah.
The company culture is deep. but we have we call it monster mottos.
Monster mottos.
Mottos are concepts that you live by, okay? And everybody is a study on that. We speak to each other in those kind of motto phrases. But in terms of hierarchy, we have a motto that says, better flat than fat.
Okay, explain that a little more.
Well, you'd rather have a flat organization than a fat organization that has a lot of layers. Okay, and that's
that's what you mean.
as companies get bigger, they always want to add. Oh, okay, we need this. Oh, and I want to be that. And then the boom, boom, boom. All of a sudden you're fat. And then when the company gets in trouble, the first thing, the highest paid person goes. You start cutting those people. So if you keep it lean, you keep it flat. That is, it prevents this, both the hierarchy, and you got to remember too, the more higher you are, one is, the more you have to pay them. Right?
Definitely.
So,
Definitely.
And that's kind of like, I'd say, old thinking.
Yeah, for sure.
That doesn't really relate to young people like you guys. No, because a lot of times you don't do it for the money.
Yeah, I mean,
right?
a lot of
it's
people,
just not about the money. Okay,
yeah.
So the money has to be there, but you don't do it just for the money, which is a great thing to do because you've got other things that will derive you money from it. Okay?
Yeah.
So when I say make the money, I say make sure that you got a great idea that warms your heart and really motivates you for the long run, but make sure it makes money. Because otherwise you do something and it's, I feel really great about volunteering all my time, but I can't pay the rent, right?
Exactly. No, that makes so much sense. If you wouldn't mind, I'd love to hear some more of the monster mottos.
Okay.
Yeah, because everyone here is trying to develop a company culture, and
I see, yeah.
these mottos are just super crucial. And I want to know how and why the thought process of some of these monster mottos.
I'll give you a few, and the reasons why they are. Break through false walls. Break through false walls. And a lot of folks say, well, I can't do that because they told me the rules were this. They're not allowed to do that. That's not their policy. And you break through it. Okay, figure out how to overcome that obstacle. And it may not be obvious, but we have so many things. And I'd say we break through more walls than there are walls. Okay? So, we always make the impossible possible. Okay? Things that other people can't do, we do. And I don't want to get into details, but then let's say a marketing program. Can't do that. Nobody's done that before. Well, that's no reason why you can't do it. Okay. Another one is no hearsay, meaning, and that's also tied to
the company culture.
But it's also tied to another model called how do you know? Okay, so a lot of people will express things to you that says, you know what, I can't give an example. I was going to do a Trump thing, but I better not. Okay, so, but they'll say something to you, and you accept it as fact.
Yeah.
When they don't really know, okay? So, how do you know? Well, so-and-so told me. Well, then how does he know? Okay? And, it comes down to it, they don't really know, okay? And so, if you base your decision or your information based on what's given to you, and the information is not reliable, then you go make a decision and it's the wrong decision, because you didn't really know.
Got it. All right, so what is step 5? Because that was company culture and this was so amazing. So what is step 5 in terms of getting the product into, anything?
Well, we're talking about
starting
entrepreneurial companies. Okay, so marketing, I could go another 10 hours on that, so we're not going to do that. But 5 is who you are as a leader. Okay, so company is inspired by what the leader does. And, the leader I mean, the front person. The company takes on the personality of that person. So when Steve Jobs was running Apple, it's different than when Gil Amelio was running Apple, right? And the company takes on the persona of the leader. Okay, so if you're operations oriented like Gil Amelio was, or John Scully, okay, that's different than the entrepreneurial field that Steve Jobs is, and different than what Tim Cook is doing, right? So you got to be a strong leader with a real vision that people want to follow. And the second thing about that is don't be prepared to do what you're telling other people to do. Okay, so I have another model called delegation is not management. So delegation is not management. A lot of managers think delegation is management. Well, I can tell you to do something, tell you to do something. Now I'm a manager. No, you got to manage the people by working with them. Okay, so it's not just delegation. We have another model called knowledgeable empowerment. Everybody wants to be empowered. Well, I don't empower people unless I know, number one, they got the skills to do it. Two, that they have the information to do it right. And three, that they've got the tools to be set up for success. Because if I empower you, Lorenzo, to do something, and you don't have the skills, you don't have the knowledge, you don't have the resources, what am I doing? I'm setting up for failure. Okay, so, in terms of what your leadership style is, will determine how the company reacts.
Yeah. You're totally right. You're totally right.
So the company takes on, and if you're not that leader, and you may be the owner of the company, and you're not that leader, then hire somebody who's the leader.
Got it.
Who's the front person? Because you don't have to be. Not everybody, not all of the entrepreneurs are natural leaders or inspirational leaders or any of that kind of thing. So, it's okay. I mean, you want to start a business, then you better hire somebody who is.
Yeah.
Just like when Jobs hired Scully.
Man, that was a really, really great step 5.
Yeah.
I honestly didn't expect that much mind explosions right there, but
Okay. Well, you can write it up.
of course,
Pay me royalty on the book.
Thank you so much. That's it for right now for the Youngry Nation. We don't want to waste too much of your time, and thank you so much. We appreciate everything that you've done for us so far. The audience is going to take this. They're going to write everything down and take it to heart, just like I know I am. And I'm going to take a lot of action on this.
Well, let me plug our website, okay?
Yeah, please.
It's monsterproducts.com. You can write me directly at headmonster@monsterproducts.com. And, we'll forward it on to the right people. But appreciate the opportunity. It's great.
Thank you so much.
All right, man. Thank you.